Mike and Dan on mics, Michael and Dan on mics, and then we've got Skinny Mike, Young Mike on the left.
Aerodynamic.
So what we're going to start, so you know a little bit about Key Digital and who they are. Mike Tsinberg is going to tell us. Mike got, in kind of our end of the world, got started back in, he has a bunch of patents for HDTV and DVD. Why don't you tell us about that, Mike?
Okay, so I was lucky to got here in the United States around 1980s, in 1983, 84, 85. There was a lot of discussion around the people who were developing and producing televisions, what to do next. And I have to give credit to Japan by starting the conversation about high definition television. But at that time, we all talked about analog because it was all analog. And it was hard to fit analog in existing broadcasting plan. So ideas that came from my group was to broadcast television digitally. At that time, we wanted to solve the problem of fitting television in existing analog broadcasting situation. Digital worked well, and from there on, we also saw the light, because once we thought about digital among ourselves, I still remember that meeting, we looked at each other and said, you know what, but we're also opening the doors for digital television going on all media, not only broadcasting. And we thought that that would be sort of a revolutionizing moment for the whole global processing and delivering of video. So I contributed a lot through my group to creating that digital standard, later called ATSC. It was basically technically done in 87. FCC took 10 years to approve it in 97. And from there on, you'll start getting the digital televisions. As you see today, they were direct a result of that work in early 80s by my group and many other companies, Thomson, General Instruments, AT&T, MIT. It was a lot of companies cooperated and delivered the impact into that world. In 1991, I worked for Toshiba. I worked at Philips to developing digital television. Then in 91, I moved to Toshiba, and at that time we were thinking about also digital, but delivering digital through media, through storage media. And we came out, the Toshiba and Warner Brothers were working together. They were, there was investment, and it was the search for idea that will bring together both media and manufacturing company. And DVD was a very good point of that cooperation, because DVD actually made a lot of sense. Digital, easy to copy, easy to print, easy to produce, very high quality video and audio, interactive, data on it, and on and on and on. There are many benefits. So Hollywood really liked this idea. Consumer electronics really likes it too. In 93, we created a format. And I think in 95, we started selling already DVD players. So it was very quick, very, very strong, very successful format. And so I was sort of, in both cases, I delivered some ideas, technology management group, and all other attributes to make this happen. And in 99, I decided to start my own company. That's why I called it digital, because it's all digital, Key Digital Systems. And we concentrated on delivering digital video, audio to the residential and commercial installations, and producing products, hardware and software that delivers, connect, distributes, switches, processes, controls, sets up all the digital environment in home and businesses. So that's sort of a brief introduction.
What's cool about that, for all of you that are watching, both dealers and homeowners, is that the knowledge trust behind Key Digital, as you can tell, is very experienced and incredible. And they bring a lot of knowledge powerhouses to the table. So tell us a little bit, either Mike or Don, either of you can take this. Tell us a little bit about, for homeowners, a couple of the key products that you offer, and more kind of what they give, not so much the product, but the user experience they provide.
Me?
Sure. You're the man.
Dan O'Man.
Well, sometimes Mike calls me Dan O'Money. It depends.
Right.
It depends on the time of the month, the time of the year, and the time of the quarter, right? But
so not very often.
Got to give it to the Montgomery boys. They don't mess around. The comedy travels with them, and so we have a lot of cool categories that we participate in. But I think, where we're going and the direction we're going is hardware, software, and really combining hardware and software together. So what does that mean for you in your home? It means that you can pick up any smart device, you can pick up, and integrate all your audio, video, all your technology together. So when I explain to people that come to my house and they want to see, oh, well, how were you able to turn the music on in the room from your phone? Or how are you able to go in and turn the lights on from your iPad? It's because all this stuff comes together in one app, and we have an app called Compass Control, which is our software backbone. And then on the hardware side is really cool because in one area in my house, one rack, it's not very pretty, it's very messy, not as beautiful as what Mr. Restrepo puts out.
Oh,
Those racks, and the Montgomery boys, those racks are super high end, right? Mine, it's like you could tell that the cook and the kitchen is a little messy, and my wife will say that too. She'll probably put in the comments below. I do a good job cooking, but always leave a big mess in the kitchen. But the cool thing is in the basement, you could have one rack of gear, or if you don't have a basement, anywhere in the house. And Key Digital actually has hardware components where you can have your Bose SoundTouch or your Denon Hios or your Sonos go into an audio matrix. You can have your cable box, your satellite box, your TiVo, all your streaming devices. As long as it's on HDMI, it goes into a video switching box. And the cool thing is, every TV in the house can now see any of those sources at any time. So if you hear something and you want to go and hit one button on your iPad and have your security cameras pop up in a room, you can do so. If you want music to play throughout the house, you can do so. So we are kind of like that brand behind the scenes that does all the heavy lifting, and now we have a really cool, for over 6 years now, we're selling this Compass Control product where we sell largely into the commercial space, for big government projects, schools, house of worship, bar, restaurant, but there also is a good amount of installs that go into the residential space as well, where you have that kind of experience where you can pick up your smart device, and with that smart device you can control everything in your house.
With the video distribution and the hardware, one of the things we've known about Key Digital for a long time is that it's very, very reliable. The performance, as a homeowner, when you invest in things like video distribution and audio distribution, there are a lot of little nuances, like what if you want the TV to play through the audio speakers? So you want the volume of the TV to play through the audio speakers, or what if you try and put a video on the TV and you get like that really long black screen delay while it's switching to the new input. These are things that with Key Digital, they really do a great job of managing these nuances and these details, so the user experience is very, very solid. Can you, Mike, can you speak to what you've done to help with that?
Right. So we it's maybe it sounds a little bit boring, but it's an onion. We started to work with HDMI probably 10 years ago, and by working and making our own products, and the fact that we have engineering in-house, not engineering overseas, we're able to talk to our customers, talk to dealers, and to test the problem. We accumulated a large package of experience. We call it buffer. So if you, for example, look at our products, and we sometimes say it full buffer. Full buffer is we created a bunch of hardware and firmware that actually makes HDMI connection much more solid. And it's needed because HDMI is a smart connection. It's not like a dumb connection like RGB was, or component or composite when source and display. HDMI has unidirectional data, has bidirectional data as well, that allows the source and display to negotiate with each other. And since software is involved, is written by different people in different countries and different places, this software not always works well and creates a lot of miscommunication. And when miscommunication happens, HDMI signal does not show. It's not like before. It's either there or not because it's digital. So we created this buffer technology, we call it, that cleans up HDMI itself and also cleans up the communication protocols between the source and us and display. So we're trying to buffer it in between, and this way we created actually a seamless connection. So we call it buffer. Now every of our products has this now, and every time we produce a new small or big product has it now, and that allows us to sort of make HDMI communication robust. And as you know, HDMI was an amazing breakthrough in all our in the many years of trying different common video interactions. HDMI did very well. I was involved in Emmy committee, which I was promoting and promoted to give Emmy to HDMI technology. Then every technology that came now after that carries HDMI up front, if you notice. For example, HDBaseT, the way it's proliferated, was carrying HDMI through a Category 5, Category 6 wire. Now we're talking about HDMI over IP. Again, this is IP technology using the IT technology, taking HDMI through a infrastructure that originally was designed for data and for information and for internet, and now it's also used for video. So HDMI is a key technology to make it work, and all the subsequent technologies now getting added for different media is carrying HDMI, and we sort of created so much experience how to handle HDMI that also translates into a seamless connection on HDBaseT and AV over IP. So this is kind of a hard, I don't want to go into too much.
No, that was fantastic, and it shows when you when you use the Key Digital products, it's always a great experience for the user, for the dealer, and I think one of the things that you see too is you guys do dance in the commercial industry, and so you bring a lot of commercial grade hardware to the residents that has the horsepower and the engineering to handle a sports bar. So if you're worried about whether or not it can handle your 5 or 10 TVs, it's got all the engineering and the horsepower for that, and then a lot of flexibility with compass and to really control it and drive it.
Right. So just to give you a small how commercial benefits residential in our space, one of the main attributes of commercial product called 24/7. The product once it turned on have to work for years, and that you have to make very reliable product that works for years. Many people who supply strictly for residential marketplace do not think that way. They know that plug in, matrix switch works during the night, probably switched off, blah blah blah. It's never worked continuously without ever turning off for years and years. By making this product for commercial, we actually the products that now bought for residential space, they carry with the same quality with it. So it makes a installation in a residential space also incredibly robust. And that's also very important because as you see, and over the years, the complexity of residential installs getting bigger and bigger now. There's a lot of things involved. Compass controls lights and it controls shades, controls environmental systems, security, audio, video, you name it. And so you want that compass module and every attached hardware work reliably for a long period of time without dealer going back and fixing this installation, without him losing money and without the owner getting upset about unreliability. So this is kind of why the commercial is also, we're opening up commercial space for us, but in the same time, by going into commercial, we're improving our products that's sold in any market.
And then the Compass, for those of you that are watching, Compass Control is a smart app, a solution that drives your home. It's similar to what you might find from something like Control4, Crestron, or Savant. It's very, very customizable. You can make a very customizable GUI or user interface so it can look the way that you want for your office or for your home. But Key Digital also integrates with a number of those companies too. So you can use their hardware and the Compass software, or you can integrate if you've already got some existing pieces and you're just looking to upgrade. It's a really fantastic line. One of the things I loved about Key Digital when we went out there is we went out there for training, and Mike Tsinberg invited us all into the conference room for lunch. And for 2 hours, he sat there and asked for all of us for feedback and listened very intently. And within just a matter of weeks, we started to see some of the recommendations that we were providing finding their way into the hardware. So it's a company that really listens to the homeowner, to the dealers, to get feedback and improve the products. And it's one of the reasons they have a great product.
Thank you.
Now, something I want to add that just drives value to homeowners, and they should understand when dealing with a Key Digital project, is that when you have a product that is so robust, that makes things consistent, you know what happens? Other manufacturers, other cabling manufacturers, they sing them praise, because when you have a problem and you have multiple parts, So you figure there's an HDMI cable, there's a switcher. It's really hard to figure out whose fault is it. Now, when you have something like buffer technology, you make it easy for everybody to smile, because there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of differences, nuances, and to make it all play nice, because you got to imagine there's all kinds of different manufacturers and not everybody's in the same page, and to make it work that it always works, it's consistent and everything with that idea, that is the kind of forward thinking, and that's one of those things that, you know, I really like about the product. And again, I've definitely gotten countless praise from other wiring manufacturers about their product, and about, you know, I'm always talking, I love it when there's a really smart guy at the top, and there gets no smarter.
Who, Dan? Dan?
You know, both of
Dan.
them, man. You're making me feel like I gotta catch up, you know. But it's a breath of fresh air, because to get some of these ideas and understanding these ideas, that how things have to work and at a certain level, it really takes that background. So it's Key Digital has always come out with some very cool stuff, and we're very happy.
Thank
with
you.
it.
Go ahead, Mike. How about it?
Small, just since talking about buffer, just to give you a small example. This happened about 12, 14 years ago when we introduced first distribution amp, HDMI distribution.
I bought them
You bought them.
when I was a customer.
You were a customer,
Before I
right?
was employee.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And at that time, we had the problem of, as you said, for example, the source connected through HDMI to a TV. TV always asks for 2-channel stereo. But what do you do for multi-channel, distribution to the same content? So we struggled with it. I said, no, the EDAD idea that HDMI has is not really works well for custom installer. And at that time, we started our first full buffer system. We installed customizable EDAD on our distribution app. So distribution video, but what display is telling to the source is controlled by a distribution video box instead of the display itself. So that allowed us to say, okay, this is different situation that you originally provisioned. Yeah, give us video in high definition, but give us audio in Dolby Digital, because that's what dealer wants, that's what installer wants. That opened a Pandora box, and if you notice, since then, almost every manufacturer, as you said, is now carrying this EDAD modification idea that we introduced in early, maybe 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
In the HDMI space.
Now, something I wanted to add, because that was some very smart talk, and I wanted to make sure everybody understood what was being said, because there was a lot of letters and everything. It was some very smart talk. Now, basically what that all means is there's a lot of things going on, and now us as the integrator installing it, we can specify what that is, what that has to be. Now, what that means to the homeowner, that means when you go press your channel and you press your mark, I want to see cable, you get your image. And not only do you get it lightning fast. Because the more you can control, the more you can fix, the less things need to think, the more things work. And to have a product that allows the integrator to specify the entire chain from source to sync is how you get consistent, fast display, and that you have it also, because you have another issue, making sure you're displaying it the best possible way, because a lot of things will be compatible, but what is the best way of compatibility? That's, again, why products like this, allowing you to specify and sculpture your masterpiece, you need tools like this, and I cannot commend you enough. And you clearly see they've been there since the beginning, and they keep pushing their products. I really can't wait to see what the future brings us.
I've got a question. I don't know. I think we're going to let the guys answer that one in the comments. Greg Hurd, we appreciate you sending that one out, and we'll let Mike and Dan give you a better answer after we get them off the air. We'll have them walk out with the crew and give you a good answer, okay? Because I think that gets us into a longer answer we can have here, but it's a good question. We got to wrap up, but you can get more info about Key Digital on their profile on nationalsmarthome.org. You can also go to Key Digital. It's keydigital.com, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Keydigital.com. And awesome company. They've got a ton of great value to offer all homeowners. Real quick, we got to do a lightning round questions. Mike or Dan, either one of you can answer this. So for your significant other, who listens better? Your significant other, Alexa, Josh.ai, Google, or Siri?
You go ahead, Mike.
Go ahead.
You
Both.
For my wife, she's anti-Apple, so she's all about Bixby.
Fighting words.
Whoa.
What do you got, Mike?
No Siri for my wife.
My wife does not control it, but when I use Siri in a car, she's amazed every time.
There you go, Siri. All right, okay, here we go. Next question. If you want to listen to music, is it 2-channel stereo? Is it a home theater, or is it earphones, headphones?
Me, home theater.
Nice. Mike?
Home theater, no doubt.
All right.
All right, you guys can stay.
All right. So
You're still invited.
last thing, we got to sign off here.
But how can be anything else?
I agree.
How can it produce a subwoofer-like experience in a headphones?
You're speaking our language.
Unless you connect your head to some electrodes.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. If you were going to talk, if a homeowner came to either of you today and said, "Hey, I want to buy products from Key Digital through a dealer, or however that goes down," what question would you ask the homeowner to understand better what they need?
Well, I think it'd be more than just one question, but I think, for our products, for all of you that are watching today, it's not a DIY product. You really need to have a professional installer to come in and, put our product into the system, whether it's setting up the hardware, as Mike was telling, Mike on the end, the other Mike, was explaining to you, is that there's so much to know and so much information, especially when we talk about like AV over IP, which eventually what will happen is your custom integrators will be talking to you about how you can take a network switch and that becomes your new matrix switch, stuff like that. But I would ask questions like, how many people live in the house? How many audio zones? Yeah.
So you got a stadium full of people, which we're hoping to have today by the end of the show, right? And this
Sure.
video will play for the next 6 months, 5 years. What would you like to accommodate the homeowner with? What question do you have for them to say, hey, listen, what feature would you like encompassed, or what would you like?
Oh, you're asking what we would like to hear in
Yes,
return.
what feedback coming in those answers in the
Very,
bottom of the
very good,
comments?
very good.
Yeah.
I think in that respect, I would say, how are you using the product? What do you like? What do you don't like? What's missing out there? I think that's probably the best thing to think about, Rob, because there's a lot of devices out there that can control things. But, with us, our purpose is we want to build on an open platform and we become like that app aggregator. So it's like that one app where all the other devices can live and be used. So, if there is some feedback, I think what you guys are doing at smarthome.org is so important, because this is a platform not just for manufacturers and installers and reps and industry people, but it's really for you all, right? This is an opportunity for you to, stress those comments and let us know, because we're all paying attention. All the people on all the panels, we're watching social media, we want feedback. So let us know what you want, because it's not a matter of, oh, we can't, it's just when, right? Because we got smart people, we got the best hardware, the best software, and we're ready to deliver it. You just got to tell us what you want.